Messages of hate cause a ruckus on the OU campus. Friends and family remember a former OU football star, and financial relief as gas prices fall. This is OU Nightly.
We're not going to be used as a backdrop for people like him who want to spew hatred, who want to divide the country.
Good evening. The growing racial tensions on the OU campus have begun to boil over.
Governor Mary Fallin says not so fast to state lawmakers. The State Department of Health struggles to stay afloat, and a thankful police encounter. This is OU Nightly.
Oklahoma's budget crisis is over. Or is it? Allegations of underage seduction not in Alabama, but here. And a giant pipeline has a giant leak. This is OU Nightly.
And now the election is finally over. The peaceful transition of power has begun. OU Nightly's Eric Payne is here with the efforts underway to make that happen. Eric?
That's right, guys. President-elect Donald Trump must now fuse his campaign team with the transition team.
But parents can still ask for them.
Thank you, Brooke. Even though yesterday was warm, Brian Briggs joins us now on what students are doing to enjoy today's cold temperatures. Brian?
All right, well, yeah, that's right. You know, we're out here right now at the Skate into Spring event here at the Walker Adams Mall. And as you can see, there are quite a few students already here. The event goes from 3 to 8 tonight. So if you don't have any plans for this Friday at night, you know, it's a good evening to come out here and enjoy the winter-like weather. You know, definitely a noticeable change from what we saw yesterday. If we look at our current temperature change outside right now from this time yesterday, we're seeing upwards of a 30-degree temperature change across the whole state.
This smoke plume pushes out almost 300 miles out into the ocean. Now, Harley Toothman joins us now in News Center with more details on these fires. Harley?
Wildfires have torn through Southern California for a 5th day in a row.
Thanks, Harley. Donald Trump celebrated his victory with cake, as most people do. But not everyone's cake is a life-size bus. That's right, this cake of Donald Trump was delivered to Trump Tower hours before he was declared the presidential-elect. And like they do, people took to social media to make fun of it. Many saying the bus looked like a very sad Donald Trump. Memes of the cake are taking over Twitter under the hashtag #TrumpCake.
Wow. You had to know there was going to be some backlash there. You did look very sad.
Why would you make that your celebratory presidential-elect? I don't know. Okay.
Let's talk about the weather. How about that?
Let's do that.
Let's look at the weather here. We got the forecast coming up. We've got Veterans Day on Friday. Plans for that. Conditions are looking great. Have a high around 69 degrees. Again, we have that backdoor cold front, which will cool things off for Saturday. Perfect conditions for the game. That system moves through on Sunday, which does give us a slight chance for showers and thunderstorms. But other than that, a slight return to 70s before a system comes in late next week.
Great. Well, thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.
Breaking news about a sexual assault near campus. More details emerged from the deadly Amber Alert. Plus, 2 animals prove that distance makes the heart grow fonder. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Cheyenne Plummer.
And I'm Caitlin Howard. We begin with some breaking news. Moments ago, OU Nightly received confirmation from Norman Police that officers responded to reports of sexual assault early this morning. Police responded to the 300 block of East Brook Street. That's near the Callaway apartment building just east of campus. Detectives took 27-year-old Socrates T. Lewis into custody. He's been arrested for first-degree rape and forcible oral sodomy. We'll have more updates on this story as it develops. And there's new information tonight in the Norman Amber Alert that ended with a baby's murder. Earlier today, the baby's father, Victor Manuel Menares, was arraigned in Oklahoma City. He was charged with murder and unlawful disposal of a body and denied bond. We also know the Norman Police Department released a timeline of events leading up to the infant's death.
And what we found in that timeline is raising questions tonight. OU Nightly's Lauren Linville is here with those details. Lauren?
Cheyenne, Norman PD issued an
Amber Alert for the baby Wednesday, March 7th, but some say the alert could have been issued up to a week earlier, maybe even as early as February 23rd. Let's take a closer look. Police say baby Jody was taken by his father on February 19th. The baby's mom called Norman police on the 19th because she says the father assaulted her before leaving with Jody, but she told officers she expected the father to return with their baby. On February 20th, police advised the mom she should file for a victim's protective order against the dad. 3 days later, Norman police interviewed the mother, and she told officers she didn't think her baby was in danger. Even so, with the VPO, a Cleveland County judge ordered baby Jody should be returned to her custody.
The judge in this case handwrote on the VPO that the child be returned, but that would not warrant an Amber Alert. For an Amber Alert, you have to have an abduction, and even at that point, it was not an abduction.
On February 28th, a friend of the mother says she received a text message from a person she thinks is Min Juarez. It said the mother would never see Jody again. On March 1st, Norman police asked the DHS to petition the courts for an emergency custody order to return baby Jody to his mother. The Cleveland County District Attorney's Office declined the police department's request. 5 days later, detectives listed Jody as missing and endangered and asked for public assistance in locating the child through social media. On the afternoon of Wednesday, March 7th, the Amber Alert was issued.
We were able to justify it due to the fact that we had put a missing and endangered child alert out the previous day, and it had been widely spread via the media and other social media outlets.
Rules regarding Amber Alerts say there must be a verified concern for a child's safety before one can be issued. But the question remains about why the Cleveland County's DA office denied the request for an emergency protective custody hearing. Stay with the OU Nightly for latest on this developing story. Thanks, Lauren. The weather outside is really nice. Brian, is it going to stick around?
Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm right outside the studio right now. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon here. The temperatures are beautiful. The winds are really calm, but the only downside to today is the allergies. We've just been feeling those allergies across the area as there is very, very high tree pollen across the area as you know, the trees are starting to bloom as we get closer into spring. And but you know what? We'll make up for that temperature-wise across the state as we're seeing 70s across the area. So it is a beautiful Friday evening, and we're going to continue to see this, you know, stick around at least for the next day or so until we start to see changes into tomorrow. So coming up later in the show, I'll talk about Saturday's rain chances. We do spring forward on Sunday morning, and it's going to cool down later into next week, but I'll have more on that coming up next.
Thanks, Brian. Authorities are searching for a prison inmate who escaped last night from a minimum security Muskogee County facility. 52-year-old Todd Hicks escaped from Jess Dunn Correctional Center, where he was serving 2 15-year concurrent sentences for burglary convictions. Earlier today, schools in the Muskogee County District went into a precautionary lockdown, but normal activities resumed later in the day.
A former elementary school principal will serve 5 years probation for not reporting child abuse committed by teacher's aide. Kenda Miller reached a plea deal for misdemeanor charges of failure to promptly report child abuse or neglect. The teacher's aide, Arnold Cohen, is serving 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to molesting 10 girls. Parents of 16 girls also filed a federal lawsuit against Perry Public Schools and the Board of Education. We are following a developing story on hostages in a veterans home in California. Brooke Mursky has more in the news center. Brooke?
Yes, a gunman has taken 3 hostages at a veterans home in Yountville, California. The Napa Valley Register reported a man wearing body armor and armed with an automatic weapon entered the home earlier today. No one has been injured, and people are advised to stay away from the Yountville area to avoid potential danger. A federal judge sentenced Martin Shkreli to 7 years in prison today for defrauding investors. The smirking pharmaceutical executive gained notoriety in 2015 for hiking the price of a life-saving HIV drug 5,000%. Prosecutors say Shkreli's failed hedge funds amounted to a Ponzi scheme. In Florida, Governor Rick Scott signed Gun Control Senate Bill 7026 into law today. The new law tightens gun control by raising the age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21, requires a 3-day waiting period for firearm purchases, and restricts mentally ill individuals from obtaining firearms. The bill supports arming teachers, but only those with military or law enforcement experience will be able to carry them. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Brooke. Still ahead on OU Nightly.
With the Norman population continuing to expand, what the city is building to keep up with the growth.
Plus, locals will be sleeping where for a night? We'll give you the latest coming up.